Hi, I'm Andrea and I'm a naturalist and educator at Severson Dells Nature Center. Today, I'm here to talk with you about one of my favorite groups of animals in the whole world, which are frogs. Specifically, frogs that call in May. Now, while there are several different frog species in Winnebago County that will call in May, there's some that begin their calls in May, and those are the ones that we're going to focus on today. Those are the American toad, the Cope's gray tree frog, and the eastern gray tree frog. The American toad is the only toad that we know of that lives in Winnebago County. They can grow anywhere from 2 to 3.5 inches long, and they can live in a wide variety of habitats, especially urban areas. All they need is water to breed in and lay their eggs in, and land to live on as adults. They can live in old fields or forests or swamps, you name it, they'll probably be there. There's a lot of variation in their coloring and their pattern on their skin, and they can even change the color of their skin slightly to blend in with their surroundings. They have a really long call, and a single call could last up to 30 seconds long. Some people say it sounds like a pleasing musical trill, and other people say it sounds like a ringing telephone. Or it might even sound like an audio recording stuck on a loop. I'd love to know what you think. Our two species of tree frogs are very similar to each other in many ways, so I'll describe them generally and then explain why the eastern gray tree frog and the Cope's gray tree frog are two entirely different species. These frogs are generally smaller, they're 1.5 to 2 inches long, and they prefer to live in forested areas. Both frogs can change the color of their skin depending on their environment, and usually they're a gray or a green or anywhere in between. Their skin can be very light or very dark depending on their surroundings, and it's incredible how well they can camouflage. Now, even though these frogs are similar in many ways, they are different species. We think they evolved apart from each other at the end of the last ice age. There's two main ways to tell them apart. That's their call and the number of chromosomes they have. The eastern gray tree frog has a slower call. It has anywhere from 16 to 34 pulses per second. Cope's gray tree frog has a faster call, and it ranges anywhere from 34 to 60 pulses per second. Both calls sound like a pleasing musical trill, and both calls vary based on temperature. Cope's gray tree frog in a cold environment could sound very much like an eastern gray tree frog in a warm environment. So if you think you've heard either species, it's important to take note of the temperature and record their call and submit it to an expert so we can confirm the identity of that species. Now, the other difference between the species is the number of chromosomes they have. The eastern gray tree frog is tetraploid, meaning they have 4 sets of chromosomes or 48 chromosomes. The Cope's gray tree frog is diploid, which is pretty common in vertebrates, and they have 24 chromosomes. Because the eastern gray tree frog is tetraploid and the Cope's gray tree frog is diploid, they don't hybridize very well. And although these species share the same habitat and share the same range, if they do breed, their eggs suffer a high mortality rate. The eastern gray tree frog is pretty common in this area, and the Cope's gray tree frog is incredibly rare. It's important to record their calls regardless of which species you think you heard, just so we can confirm the identity of the species, because the Cope's gray tree frogs are so rare, and it's very important for us to have accurate information about their populations. All of the frogs mentioned today are wonderful, exciting creatures and have very beautiful melodic trills. I hope that you will help me look for them in our native habitats. We're always looking for calling frog monitors who are citizen scientists to help us out. You could become a calling frog monitor with just a little bit of training from staff here at Forest Preserves of Winnebago County and Severson Dells Nature Center. If you're interested, please visit our website at seversondells.com, and you could help us learn more about these incredible and very valuable species.